So about prison school, animes aren't really funny, in any context at all. 99% of the humor in anime has the entire population straight-faced. If someone ever tells me that they actually laughed at one of the jokes that get reused in every anime, I would ask them where the punchline was in their joke, because there's no way a person actually laughs at that kind of shit. It's the equivalent of people who say lol or LMAO when they're texting someone in every other message. But if you see them in real life while they're typing that, they have the straightest face you will ever see. There's really just no redeeming qualities in anime humor. It's the same recycled jokes that are put into every show, and there probably is a way to put a spin on the jokes that actually make them funny, like the guy getting hit for walking on a girl undressing type of jokes. There has to be at least a few ways you could spin that joke where it would actually land, but even manga authors who are actually funny steer clear from attempting it. No authors I've seen have ever tried to rework the execution of the joke to try and make it better. It's the same formula over and over. I've never laughed at it the first time, and I never will. Maybe the first time that joke was used it was actually funny. I mean the first anime to ever use that joke, but it's been reused so many times that it just degrades the joke over the years. You can't argue it being a cultural thing either. I can understand people having different senses of humor and stuff. Some people like dark humor like I do, and others are more into the lighthearted stuff. But unless you're over the age of like 60, I don't see anyone anywhere laughing at these jokes. Comedy transcends geographical locations. For every joke that is done in the West, there's an equivalent in the East, or for some it could be the same in both areas. And I'm including bad jokes as well. The equivalent of those bad jokes you see in anime would be like those terrible anime memes you see pop up every once in a while. You don't acknowledge them and just move on with your day. But bad jokes in anime aside, there actually is a small group of series that actually have good humor, and not just with one or two scenes that you chuckle at. I mean animes that have you laughing for real. It's extremely rare to find shows like that. There's probably less than 5 shows I've watched that I've seen be consistently funny. Some of them weren't even considered comedy series. They just happen to have good humor whenever they made jokes. So when I do find these type of shows, they instantly get a really high rating from me. Even if other parts of the show is below average. I would take a shitty plot for a funny anime any day, honestly. And recently, I ended up discovering another one of those series, that being Prison School, which you might have guessed from the title. The only reason I ended up giving this series a shot was because of a YouTuber named Degenerosity. He's a pretty funny guy, so I would recommend checking him out at some point. In one of his videos though, he was talking about comedy and anime, and he mentioned and recommended Prison School. He made like a top 5 list of comedy animes he liked, and it was somewhere on that list, so I decided to give it a shot, seeing as how our taste in humor seemed pretty similar, and it definitely did not disappoint. If you have been aware about my channel for any amount of time, you might have noticed something a little different about it. A few days ago, I ended up changing my profile picture on my channel. It was a picture of Takamura smiling like a dumbass. I ended up changing it to Morokuzu from Prison School, and I'm not one of those people who take changing their profile pictures lightly. I don't be swapping it out every few days for a new character from a different anime. I've had that same Takamura profile picture on every platform that I use for about 2.5 years, I would say. I grew a little attached to that picture, I'm not gonna lie. There was just something about it that I liked a lot. A lot of times whenever I got on Discord with my friends, they would mention me never changing my profile picture. I grew a lot of sentimental attachment to it. I saw a lot of good shows ever since having it, but none of them ever got to the point where I considered changing my profile picture to my favorite character of those other series, which sounds kinda cringe saying it like that, but that's also partly why I stuck with the Takamura profile picture. I loved how goofy it looked, as well as the fact that it came from my second favorite all-time anime, but now, I think I finally found a picture that will succeed my previous profile picture. You can't look at that image and not have your day made just looking at it. Just everything about it is great, and how much I enjoyed the series the image came from amplifies that even more. If you couldn't tell, I think Prison School is funny as hell. It was definitely surprising how funny it turned out to be. I expected to get a few laughs out of it, but it ended up exceeding my expectations. I don't know why, but when people tell you to watch something because they think it's funny, it somehow makes it less funny for you, or at least for me. Even if it is something you would have laughed at, you just end up looking at it straight-faced. I think it's cause you know it's coming ahead of time, so you're already anticipating the comedy to hit. But even with that subconsciously happening to me with Prison School, it was way funnier than I was expecting it to be. I won't even really try to explain what the series is about. I went in with no context at all, and I definitely think that's the best way to go about it. If you're really trying to laugh, it's actually kinda popular. I probably heard the name at least a couple of times, but I never delved deeper into what it actually was, because the name itself doesn't really stand out that much among other series. I finished it in a day pretty much, and I'm considering reading the manga. I can't really tell if the anime will get a second season or not. The series ended in like 2015, but coincidentally, there is a chance that it might have a new season this year, or at least an announcement. I'm trying to hold off on it for now. And also the fact that people say that the manga kinda falls off at some point, so I'm both scared and curious on reading it. I'll probably just wait for a little bit, and see where the anime rumors end up going. But yeah, that is more or less what I think about Prison School. Definitely give it a chance if you haven't heard of or watched it yet. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe for future content. Peace.